Hello everyone, this is Kiro coming from Kiro's Corner again. A member in our Raining Crafts and Dogs Discord server was wondering how to do sewing things together in, stuffed animals, flat work, circular work, whatever, I don't know. But I told her that I would be sewing together a stuffed animal that I'm working on. You can't really see it, but I got a big, huge monster here. It's literally a chimera. But I told her I had a project I'm working on for sewing, and I got a bunch of stuffing here, so please excuse the stuffing, because I'm stuffing an animal right now. And I was just showing off how I crochet, because a lot of places say use whip stitches, and whip stitches are where you stick something in, stick it out, come in here and cuss at it and stuff because it's not behaving itself. And then you just go like this, and you go around, and you go like this again, and whip like this. And I hate this. It just seems... You can kind of see the string, especially if you're using two different colors of yarn, and it just doesn't look good to me. It's perfect. I use the stitches depending on what project I'm doing on, because there's some places I just have to, but I can't stand looking at these most times, especially because look, there's one, there's one, there's one, and it just drives me nuts. So I'm sure there's a name for whatever way I do it. I have no idea. So what I'm doing here is just showing a really quick... I have to pull it all out because I'm actually sewing this part, and I was going to do it on the big thing, but then I realized this is smaller and easier to see. So let's see. Let me pull all this crap out so I can actually do the stitches the way I do mine whenever I possibly can. And boy howdy, sometimes I am maneuvering around. Now this is right here. This is where I tied off the yarn when I was finishing off the project right here for a foot. And so I'm taking the excess yarn I left and I'm sticking it kind of high up here so that it can be pulled taut. And now I get the yarn. Where's the end of it? Stick it through my needle. First you suck on the end so it's kind of wet, and then you go bleh, 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 because you got fiber on your tongue and it's not the good fiber. Alright, so I'm going to be pulling this up. It might be a little high, but I wanted this end really taut right here. So hopefully you can... I don't know if you guys can see it very well. Let's see if that makes it a little better. Probably not. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'll take the yarn and make sure it's a little tight there. And then I like to go underneath. Like I said, this is tricky as anything. But I'll take... Let's see. What's the next stitch? Okay, there's that one. I want to put it in this one, and then I put the yarn right here. Got the stitch right there. Pull it. And then I like to bring it around like this. So it's kind of hard to see, but I'll take the needle, push it in there just to get it started. And then I will tighten it up. And then, where's my... Okay, there we go. I need to make sure I sew this correctly. I tighten it up. And then I look for another hole, depending on, and it's very subjective as to where you want your holes to, where you want to put your yarn, just depending on how big the piece is, or I'm trying to get this camera adjusted. It doesn't want to adjust. So, let's see. But I have it under, see how the yarn is underneath here? Then I guess I'll stick it right here. I can always pull it out if need be. So I stick it, take it, and I stick put it through the yarn stitch, pull it up, pull the yarn all out the way out. It's always better to have too long a yarn, though sometimes I'll make it shorter, but you can always cut off. It's a pain in the butt to lengthen yarn, so if when in doubt and you don't know exactly how you're going to attach stuff, make extra long yarn to cut it with. You can cut it later. Okay, so that's one stitch. Normally doing this closer. Okay, so we'll stick this in here. Stick that there. And then I'll take my yarn needle and put it right here again. Tighten it up because I'm trying to kind of keep it in line, but see how the stitches are a little bit more hidden. You can't see it because it's more, it looks part of the stitching right here. So it takes a lot longer to do it this way than whip stitches, but it looks to me, it makes me feel better that it doesn't look like it's just wrapping around. And I can do this, which is really nice, is because I'm kind of hiding the yarn, is if you have like dark yarn, light yarn. I did a neck that was, no, they were the same color, I think, but I've done two pieces where they were opposite colors at the time, and you could not see the stitches really, because I try and hide it underneath everything whenever possible. Some stuff is just so thin or so tiny that it's just not capable of doing so. But that's okay. I mean, you know, like I said, I do use whip stitches on occasion, not all the time. I prefer this method, even though it's 3 times longer to do, just because it's hides it better. And, you know, look at that. You know, can you see the stitches there as easily? No, you just see the crochet stuff. So then tuck it in here. I use my finger sometimes to help guide the yarn like this. And then we stick it in there again. You know, you just kind of find, I do like to make sure I don't want to use one, because that will get too, it won't be pulled tight enough. So I always try and get at least 2 strands on the needle. See, if I did this where it's only 1, well, that's 2, but here, right, like right here, if this is only 1 loop of a crochet, see how much gap that is? And I don't want that. So you always want to, when I always try to do 2 strands at least, where it's a little thicker, so it has more, you know, surface, more, it just is a thicker thing to really latch on and make it taut. See? It can take the abuse of a corner. Then sometimes you have to find where this is. Make sure you always have it, if you're going to do it this way also, you have to have some sort of dividing crochet, otherwise you'll just pull your yarn back out. So, you know, if I accidentally came back, I was like, oh, I want it right here, you know, and blah, 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 and next thing I know, it's pulling out. So, let's see. I think this is okay. So I go right here. Pull this. Make sure I don't get knots in my yarn. There's that. And then, let's see. This. Okay. Now comes the fun part is I want to make this part right here merge with this part to make it look like a foot. So I don't really want to use the edge of the rope like what I was doing right here because this is the back and so it had a little bit more. But I want to do a little bit. So I'm probably actually going to put my yarn here and then here and here because it's a little bit stronger than right here and it's not going to have such a gap. So what I need to do first is I just take my needle and I'm going to stick it into this one because I want to get started here. Don't mind the fuzz because I just stuffed the foot so it'd be a little, have some form. Okay, so I got that. And let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, that one is an actual whip stitch here because I want to, let's see. How do I want? I'm trying to do this on the fly. Where is it? I want it to go underneath this one to tie up there. So I'm gonna whip it. Okay. Let's see if this works. Oops, sorry for the video. Okay. No. Alright, so sometimes I get confused. It's okay. You can kind of see when you have a plan. Alright. So we do it this way. No, let's try this again. It's not coming out the way I want. So. Alright. Just do what I want! Which is to be done and over with and not have to hassle with this project anymore. So, alright. Let's see, we got that tied in. Is there a separation there? Whatever. Let's see what this does. I can't tell, there's so much fuzz here. Oop. Make sure yarn where I want it. There we go. Like I said, I don't try and use whip stitches too often, but the way I want to do this, there we go. There we are. And then I put this underneath. See how I have the two stitches right there? Pull this out. And then put it under. And you kind of have to just feel where you're gonna. Nope, that's still not what I want. It's too close to that edge. I don't want it on that edge. So we'll pull it out and do it again, and eventually I'll get it correct. Yeah, I'm using just a darning needle and Caron yarn. I love that stuff. I have some more on order for another project. Okay, let's try this again. Where is my foot? Okay. There we go. A little. There we go. Here we are. had to go down a little bit more because I want to tuck that end in. And then should get it started. Here comes the fun part, trying to get it underneath all this. As long as you have a dividing, there's no reason why you can't go back to a stitch if you want to make it a teeny bit more secure, or you're doing this wire. Sorry. He's going to be stuffed and I needed the wire in there, so I can't cut it until I get it actually in the animal. So, yeah, this takes a little bit longer to do, but depending on what you're doing, I prefer it a little bit easier to just not see the stitches as much as possible. I like to keep them as hidden as possible. Sorry, I'm using a phone holder for the video. And then we get here. This is kind of where we started. And pull this out. Make sure it's tight. Find something to... I'm not going to tie this off until I got everything ready to sew on the main animal, but you can kind of just see. Like I said, whip stitches are very good to use. I even used a couple on this project, but to me, I just kind of prefer a slightly more hidden stitch as much as possible. Yeah, you're going to get this part right here sometimes, depending on what's going on, but you know, hey, it turns out okay. And I wanted this further back, so I need to stuff a little bit more on this end, but so that's kind of, you don't really see the stitches, but you can see the result. I hope that helps people, or at least gives them another option. like I said, I don't know. There's probably a name for this type of stitch. I don't know. I don't remember looking at it. Everybody I see says use whip stitches. I had to actually go look up what a whip stitch is to see if it was what I did or something else. And this is not what I'm doing for a whip stitch. Or it could be a variation. I don't know. I just like doing it. Yes, it's more work. But I think depending on the project, like this is a little messy because it's weird. But, because the line's sitting. But I think I like it that the stitches are hidden more than other ways. You really can't see them at all. And then I'll just I'll tie a knot and then weave the end in to give a little extra. But that's what it is. And it helps that it's the same color yarn. So there you go. Hopefully that helps somebody. All right, talk to you later. Bye.